Alright, here we go again. I wanted to talk about the recent mag rework. And I'm not pleased with it, much for the same reason I wasn't super keen on the Saren rework, which we'll get to in a minute. So, first, let me give you a little spoiler. She's actually pretty effective, as it turns out. And that's not really what the issue is. PE generally does these reworks with the intention of making frames less cheesy, less cookie cutter, things like the nerfed Mirage recently, so that you can't just completely lock down a map so that you don't have to actually play the game at all, but can kind of just sit around and wait for things to end, right? So the issue with Mag was that she was a very one-button frame, right? You just hit shield, polarize, the corpus die, the corrupted guys die, whatever. And then versus people where you can't do that, you don't have a lot you can do, which is unfortunate and boring and not a great way to play the game. So let's see how well what you can do against some pretty high-level units with her various abilities now. Shield polarize, not a lot of damage. It does strip some armor. You'd have to go to Warframe wiki to really see how much. I really do like the fact that that just kind of sucks people to the center. But as you can see, I've already run out of energy, and they're all still standing. Just kind of a problem. I think I'm gonna have to run away now. Actually, you know what? I better just meet my fate, because otherwise it's gonna bug this out. So yeah, it couldn't have a big effect on those guys, though, right? With my normal abilities, I didn't get to using Crush, but it actually does. Let me just bring these guys back. We're gonna use Crush on them this time to show you that Crush actually does a pretty significant amount of damage versus level 100 units. It still doesn't really do much to them. They still survive quite handily, but we can even shield polarize, and then we could Crush. And oh, okay, that's weird actually. It's not really doing anything. Maybe it was just magnetize I saw doing stuff earlier. Let's we'll polarize them again. All right, look at that HP and Crush. Oh god. Come on, pizza. Come on. There we go. Yeah, okay, it doesn't actually do that much. I take it back. It does not really do anything. Okay. Am I gonna get killed by any rogue torpedoes? Alright, so yeah, your kit doesn't really do much versus level 100 units. Not too surprising. There are, of course, a lot of Warframes that can do quite a bit with their kit versus level 100 units, but it's not really a mandatory requirement, right? But previously it would have been no problem if they were Corpus, right? I could have just exploded them. I have like some Corpus, right? But I'm not gonna bother messing with them because it's gonna be the same deal with them as Shield Polarize is versus Grineer these days, right? It's a set amount of damage, it's flat, it's not very powerful. But I'd already told you Mag's gonna be very effective versus these units, and let's see how that works. Because you don't actually have any problems taking these guys on. I don't think you need like 3 casts of this really to be this effective, but it's more fun with 3. So you just aim in their general vicinity and have a little bit of power strength. And oh, whoops. All right, so that's actually I've done this like 4 or 5 times now. It's the first time I've died doing it. Generally, they'll die a little bit faster, and you will not die, and you'll just wipe them all out, no problem. It's a bit easier if you're Nova or someone who's really powerful, but no big deal, right? It's still quite good. You can cast 4 of those bubbles. You could optimize your build to have larger bubbles even than that, and of course your allies can cast into them and all that, and your other abilities work with them a little bit, and yeah. So what's the verdict? The verdict is that your magnetize, your 2, is very good. You take that, and you take a machine gun of some kind, and you can kill very, very almost arbitrarily high enemies while crowd controlling them and locking them down. It will suck all of the enemies onto a point, and just kind of keep them there, and if they shoot, it's going to damage them, and if you shoot them, it's going to damage them. If you shoot in their general area, it's going to damage them. Which is great, right? Except you might notice something about this. It's just that Shield Polarize, and let's go look at the actual stats I've got on her various abilities, because you can get a little bit of a different effect if you change things around. Shield Polarize is not going to really do much. I actually had more damage on it than I thought right now. 900 damage on Polarize, right? But it's actually kind of lackluster once you get to tough enemies, right? The damage multiplier is obviously how I was able to kill all those guys. But the damage on... Oh. Damage, where is the damage multiplier on polarize? It must be the shards, right, okay. Damage multiplier on magnetize is the actual one that actually ends up being really scary. It doesn't seem to do much with polarize, but with magnetize, it's incredibly brutal. So yeah, like the problem is that polarize does a little bit of damage, whatever, you know, you could be running Ember or someone and get like a much more useful effect than that. The crush does a solid amount of damage if you optimize it for power or strength, but of course, you know, it's a flat amount. It falls off fairly quickly. It's much the same as it was before, really, except that it's more powerful if you use magnetize first. And if you use magnetize first, you can expect it to stay effective into like the level 50 to 70 enemy range instead of falling off at like the 40 or 30 to 50 range. But nothing special going on there. And then pull is pull. I mean, really, they have the energy orb drop chance they added now, right? Which is neat, I guess. But it's exactly the same as it was before, which is if you want to throw enemies off a cliff, it's great. If you happen to have a cliff, pull is amazing. And if you want to CC guys, pull is amazing. Otherwise, you know, whatever. It's never really been a bad ability or an amazing one-button win for any of Mag's lifespan. Although, you know, greedy pull, whatever. So, it comes down to spamming Magnetize. Magnetize deals insane damage. Magnetize has great crowd control. Magnetize covers a large area. It's kind of expensive, but it's less expensive than the less powerful Polarize, or Crush. You know, Crush is still a little bit decent versus lower level enemies that are going to die instantly no matter what. Crush is going to stay better. But as soon as you get into decent high level enemies, then Magnetize all the way. Why bother with Crush? And Crush kind of needs Magnetize to stay effective later on anyhow. So, yeah, they've turned Mag into a different one-button frame, kind of like Saren was turned into or kept a one-button frame. And that's what really pisses me off about these reworks, right? Is there's a lot of potential here if Magnetize was a little less broken and Polarize still had unlimited scaling, but toned down to not be like a map wiper. Especially, you know, if it worked similarly with armor as it does with shields, which I think it does actually, which is if you strip off all their armor, it's going to stop damaging them. And if you tone down the amounts of damage to the point where it doesn't insta-kill everything, it can be an ability that washes off out across the map and substantially reduces the power of enemies, lining them up to be killed by Crush or Magnetize, but it's not really what it is. It just kind of doesn't really do much, and you Magnetize everyone and kill them. So in short, yeah, Mag is still really good. Actually, she's more powerful than before. She's OP versus Corpus, OP versus Grenier, OP, probably most OP versus Infested of anyone right now. But it doesn't really matter because DE didn't fix the issue they set out to fix, which is she's still a one-button frame. Just jam your 2 now. And it used to be 3, now it's 2. See you later.